welcome back to the channel. And in today's episode, we're going to get going with the 2022 State Rally Championship. Yes, so it has been almost 6 months of off-season since last year. And now it's time to get going with the start of the season. And of course, also in the middle of pandemic, COVID is hitting WA pretty hard. And unfortunately, it also hit us, some of the key officials on the event and some of the other teams as well. However, luckily our 5 cars managed to get to the event and all the competitors. That was, we were running at the Winvale Stages Rally, which is in Bakers Hill. Now on this particular event, it was a very short event, only really a sprint, and it was a case of about 60 Ks competitive for state championship and 36 odd Ks competitive for clubmen. As season openers go, this one had quite a big field, it's 44 cars, and there was quite a heavy weight on the state championship over clubmen, and that took up probably more than 2/3 of the field. However, it was good to see a lot of four-wheel drive turbo cars and a lot of new names out there, and of course even our own team, we had a few new names entering the sport as well. In our team of 5 cars, which consisted of 4 Subarus and 1 Mitsubishi, we basically had, at the front of the state championship was Hugh, and Karen should have been navigating for Hugh, how unfortunately COVID intervened. So Katie Oxley stepped in for Hugh in his WRX. We had Tim and John running in their WRX, and newcomers to the team and the sport was Steve and Shane in their WRX. Now, if you've been following the channel, you would know that we have been building this car in the background for a little while, so it was great to get it out and stretch its legs. In the Clubman series, we had Tiana and Graham and their Impreza, and also newcomers again in this case of Damien and Gayton in their Lancer. Now the Lancer itself is not new to the rally stages, it actually won the Clubman series last year, much to the chagrin of Tiana and Graham. 10 stages lay ahead of state cars and 6 for clubmen. The weathermen promised rain and delivered very little, so it was very dry, loose and dusty on the stages. There were quite a few tricky sections, and it was going to catch a few people out during the day. Winvale would become a rally of attrition, and the problems started early for some competitors. Perhaps this was a sign of things to come for Craig Wimbridge and Kirsty Moore. They retired their WRX right on the flying finish of SS3, which made it a dangerous place for officials and the following cars. No one could say the pace of this rally was slow, and if anything, competitors were turning up the wick, even from the early stages. These photos are a bit reminiscent of Rally Australia. Max McRae, following in his uncle's footsteps, was leading the pack in the rally for the first 6 stages. Unfortunately, he and co-driver Matt Kieran's had to retire their Subaru before the end of the rally. Back to our team for a little while, and the sensation of the rally was Damien and Gayton on their first rally, leading the clubmen and wiping the floor with the other competitors. Unfortunately, later in the rally, Gayton succumbed to a bit of motion sickness and they had to stop for a little while and dropped a chunk of time. They still went on to win the Clubman Rookie Driver and Co-Drivers. Taking a slightly more tentative approach to Winvale, Tiana and Graham opened their account well in the Clubman and finished 3rd, getting a podium spot. Well done, guys. Steve and Shane eased into the rally and got themselves used to pace notes, the driving, the car and everything that went along with it. They finished a strong 16th and the car came home without a scratch. Good way to start your rallying career. Onto the main event within our team, and it was between Hugh and Tim. Development time in the off-season of both cars and drivers was bearing fruit. However, now they were tussling with each other. No quarter, or rather RPM, was given on either side. At the end of the rally, Tim and John finished 9th, and Hugh and Katie finished a handful of seconds further back in 11th. Although, if this continues, I think we're going to have to bring in team orders. Right, Let's get back to the rest of the rally. And we'll start with state two-wheel drive. The hard-charging pair of Glenn Alcorn and John Charlson had their work cut out for them. They dropped a chunk of time on the first couple of stages. They pushed their Mark II Escort to the absolute limit, and maybe over it occasionally. And they ended up with a win in two-wheel drive. Simon Grattan and Richard Harris had a long development time with their Honda Civic. However, they finally got the bugs ironed out and they were rewarded with a second place. And it was a very quick drive. Speaking of charging hard, these photos tell their own story. So that brings us to the outright podiums for the rally. The hard-charging pair of Jack Flanagan and Murray Hines brought their WRX to third place, and they actually won the bonus stage. They got some extra points for the rally too. Ben Searcy and Damon Nicoli drew car one on the road again. However, they did well in their Evo and finished in second place. And that left the top spot, and it went to the friendly pair of Craig Rando and Scott Beckwith in their WRX. So that pretty much wraps up our coverage of the Winvale Stages Rally. Thanks very much for watching. Please like, give us a thumbs up and subscribe, and we'll catch you again soon. Cheers.